There are around 200 AAA games and AA games released each year, but there are over 10,000 indie titles released every year. I'm going to explore as many of those titles as I possibly can and see if there's any gold inside that ever-growing mountain of indie games. To make things easy on myself, I'm going to use demos and the like as a jumping off point. If you can't attract me with that, there's little to no hope at all. Let's see if I can sell you on these games in 5 minutes, or at the very least, explain why you shouldn't waste your time. Not including the intro and outro, of course, so let's get it. REVELATIO is a roguelike strategy game made by Guild Studios. This is what happens when you combine Moon Scars, Into the Breach, and Chest. So the premise is a king sends over his best knight to go and kill the bad guys. However, this knight ends up getting his ass kicked and succumbs to the darkness. But there's a plot twist. You are on the side of darkness and play as one of the 3 characters controlling this corrupted knight and other beings. Now, being on the side of darkness like you are, you and your squad are set out to defeat the king and corrupt his army along the way. Pretty good setup so far. Being on the side of evil is a nice change of pace. Now, the overall goal is to complete as many levels as you possibly can, while at the same time collecting temporary upgrades to help you along the way. Once you die, you're sent back to level 1, but you can always use your points earned to be able to get permanent upgrades, making the next run slightly easier. Simple roguelike formula. Learning to pick the right upgrades for the units makes a huge difference. You can mix and match your abilities to suit your playstyle for each new run. If you want to use a Dark Knight as a tank, for example, pick vampirism abilities or upgrades that give you more health. Side note, I made that sound really easy, but 99% of the abilities and upgrades are randomized. Some characters start off with their own abilities, but other than that, everything else is straight random. That also includes the stages as well. As the game master, you also have your own arsenal of abilities that can be used to turn the tide. Really need some units for future battles? Corrupt them. Don't want to risk your own units? Torch them. The best part is, even boss characters can be corrupted. It is a lot of work to be able to do it, but it can be done. Okay, come on. Yeah, oh my god. Oh, dude, that took 8 fucking faith points to get through, but I got his ass. The style of the game is kind of metal and weird, but at some moments also kind of psychedelic as well. I mean, look at these two. Dude's hands are served up extra crispy, and old girl over here looks like her mind has been blown permanently. I mean, what is that? This game is also pretty challenging. It requires you to pay attention to the stats of all the units on the field. If you need to get off an attack first, then lean towards units with more speed. If you need to take more damage, then lean towards more units with higher HP and health regen. Now, there's not a whole lot that I can complain about when it comes to this game, except for the music and the sound effects. These are super limited, and I understand that it's an indie title, but there was only one track and very limited sound effects when it came to actually attacking your enemy. Now, I don't know if this is going to be indicative of the actual game, but only having one track in the demo kind of made me want to switch over to Spotify and just listen to music instead. And I will admit, after about playing it for an hour, I did end up switching over to Spotify just to keep my sanity. Other than that, I have no real complaints. If they can just work on that one aspect, this game is golden. Now, every time you start a run, you get a base set of units. The corrupted knight that you got from the beginning of the game, plus 3 other units. Once you start a battle, you have to spend mana points in order to summon heroes and pull off special abilities. Both require varying amounts of mana, so be cautious about how much you spend per round. Each hero has their own attack and movement patterns and abilities. From there, you duke it out with the opposing team. There are 3 keys to victory. 1. Beat all the units on the field. 2. Corrupt all the other units on the opposing team, thus turning them to your side. 3, which only applies to boss battles. If you beat the boss, all the other enemies will fall. Now, just because you lose all your units doesn't mean that you've lost. But if you don't have anybody to defend yourself, the enemy can straight up attack your health, which you get 3 hits and you're dead. Which is actually all good, because at the end of each run, the game tallies up a score for you and gives you permanent points to be able to use for permanent upgrades. So I spent about 3 hours playing this demo, and I was pretty happy with the time that I spent. The game has a unique style, a good gameplay loop, and a story that at least seems intriguing. If I had to give this one a rating overall, it would be a rating of, hey, go and check this game out. There, I went over a whole entire demo in less than 5 minutes. I really look forward to doing more of these in the future. This forces me to be very concise with my thoughts. As a man born just before 1990, we used to get demos all the time when it used to come to gaming. So I really have an appreciation for anybody who takes the time to put one of these out. Anyway, I really hope that you had a great time riding with me. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope to see you again. Catch you later, and of course, like and subscribe.